back in more familiar conditions today. I'm on a lough with a cold, gusty wind. It feels very traditional. Wind's in the northwest maybe, so it's cool enough, cool for May, certainly end of May, and a bit different from the river fishing I was doing the other day. I'm fishing two of John McLean's flies again, a sort of sedgehog, like a claret sedgehog, but with like a bright green tail on the top. Sedgehog something I would never fish, so that's part of the reason why I have it on. And I have the Connemara black tied like a bobfly on the point. I have an intermediate tip on, just taking them, not exactly down, but just the sedgehogs just scratching the surface mostly. First wee fish of the day, and it's, I think, on the Connemara black, is it? Uh-huh. That's a good fish for this lough, actually. So I'll come back this way a bit to unhook him. I think actually it's on the sedgehog. And he's wrapped himself around the Connemara black several times. So I don't know if you can see him, but I've got all sorts of tanglification going on. Come here, wee fish. Yeah, on the sedgehog, all right. I just want to untangle him because there you go. So that's a huge fish for here, I've got to say. I mean, I know it's not a big fish in world terms, but for up here in the peaty water, a massive fish. So there you go, John, your sedgehog works with the big fish. Oh, no, that was a wee touch, but I just wasn't fast enough. Game not moved to fish because I saw the flash, but it didn't touch the fly. I didn't even see it disturb the surface, but I saw like a flash under the water. I'm not sure if it's a fish or a weed. That's the honest truth. It's the world's tiniest fish. So there you go. Couldn't be at all sure if it was fish or a weed I'd got. Such was his packling about. But there you go, the world's tiniest fish. I'm still in this wee bay. I'm going to go out onto the peninsula bit, but I've been avoiding going out there because it'll be breezy out there. So I've been sort of avoiding it by staying in here in the shelter. I'm just being lazy basically. But there is like a wee weed bed in the corner here, so I'm going to fish up to it fairly rapidly, and then move out onto the peninsula bit, get a wee cast out there. There usually are a few wee fish in this wee bay, so I'm surprised I've only had the one fish and the one wee doubler. Usually what you get is wee doublers out of it, you know. That's me over onto the wee peninsula a bit. I'll get a wee cast off here as well. It's just there's a wee point here that sometimes produces the odd wee fish. I don't find it a very productive spot, but quite exposed though, in the relatively stiff wind today. But we'll see how it goes. Another wee fish, just about the normal sort of size, you know. There we go, put him back. I'm caught around some here, like a bit of the bank, just because the wind's blowing my line out so much. Always a bit of a nuisance. I think my line needs a bit of a clean as well. I think it's a bit dirty. The wee peninsula hasn't been especially productive for me today. Just the one wee fish. And saying that, The fish don't seem to be on at the minute, and the wind is really cold, to be honest. I'm thinking I should have brought another layer of clothing, you know. So I guess it's not going to be a super fishing day, but anyway, so had a few, and that's all that matters, you know. So I think I'm going to pack it up on the peninsula and march along the bank there a wee bit and see if I can find another wee spot where I can get some line out. And maybe a wee shelter spot for a cup of tea might be the priority. So I might go for that first. So time to make a wee taste of tea here. I've got behind the stone for the making of the tea, and I'll get some boilification going. I got started and had to change gas canister. I knew the old one was nearly empty. So, but I've got a good roar out of this one, and I've got the big bun in here for emergencies, like now, for example. So it'll not be long to have some tea on the go, and then I'll have a bit more of a cast here. So there we go, the secret spot for tea. I don't think it's that secret, you know, anybody coming past can see it. But nonetheless, it's a good spot, nice to sit out here. And I like the wee bit to fish down this wee bit and round the corner, so I'll give it a cast in a minute or two after I've had my tea and my big bun. And then once I've got round there, it'll be time for my dinner, I think. And I'll probably come back to here, make my dinner here, leave my gear here and kind of take up roost here. So that's my plan. And I'll not stay very much longer, you know. Not be long till I'll be walking back to the car. Yeah, another stick in my tea. There you go. It's useful for you to know. I've had my wee cup of tea now, and back for a cast or two. Now, I know there are weeds along this bank, and with the water so high, I can't see exactly where they are. So I don't know if I'm far enough along to avoid them or not, basically. So I'm fiddling about a bit, but sure, we'll see how that goes. I'm still on the sort of sedgehog type pattern on the top, and the wee Connemara black on the point. And I'm just going to keep dancing along fairly enthusiastically, at least initially anyhow, because this bit here I never find so good, but once I get around the corner a wee bit, then sometimes I get a few fish. No, I think there's a bit of weed out there, right? Moved the fish, but I didn't manage to connect with him, unfortunately. I didn't feel him either, so it might be worth covering him again. He didn't come back, but he might yet. Just well, it doesn't look like he's going to come back. Tangled, just around some vegetation. He did come back, but I missed him. Is he on still? Yes. That was a pretty lucky break. Very dark wee fish. But there we go. And hooked in the lip. I'm surprised he's hooked at all with the sedgehog. But as you can see, he's very dark and tiny. But that's okay. About the size you'd expect for here. So, another one on the sedgehog. Just make sure we're all okay. There we are. Oh, that was a big pool, but I felt him and I didn't see him, but after touching him, it's unlikely he's going to come back, you know. Dropped that one as well. Amazing the way it's been dead right along here, and then all of a sudden, basically in 3 casts, I've landed one and lost 2. Failed to hook 2 more correctly, I guess. And another one. Oh, and again dropped off. So how does that happen? Answers on a postcard, as they say. Oh, dropped that one. So as you can see in a handful of casts, I've basically hooked and lost loads of fish. I mean, not loads, but and the can't be the same fish because I can't see them coming for the fly again after being so well hooked. Because obviously I'm hitting them quite hard, you know. And then we get a couple of casts for nothing. So I guess that's the little bit of action over. I'm getting a wee shower of rain now, and it's got really quite chilly, you know, so not ideal. But what can you do? Got the hood up, try and let the wind and the rain go scooshing past my head, and hopefully it'll not last too long. I've got to say the showers this afternoon haven't been bad, so can't really complain, you know. Usually in May we have a couple of weeks of good settled weather, and we're complaining about the lack of water. And that's not been the case this year. The reservoir here certainly is as full as it's going to be. Oh, that moved a wee fish, but I didn't feel him. So, worth having another wee cast in that general area, I guess. That moved a fish as well. And that moved a fish. Well, you can't believe that, and that's the way it was a few minutes back as well. You can't believe that you go for a while with nothing, and then all of a sudden you move fish in a few casts, and I don't believe they could have been the same fish because they were quite a distance apart, you know. I put the hood down now. Oh, I put the hood back up again. Looks like quite a heavy shower this time. I saw the wee blink of sun coming and I thought, oh, I'm with a chance, but no. I've got like a rainbow over the water there. Well, the fish like the rainbow as well. There we go. A fish under the rainbow. Could you beat it? Come here, you fish. Don't put me on my own fly, eh? Here he comes. So, I put the hood down again. So, looks like a better fish for here again. And again, he's on this sedgehog thing with the green tail, like a clarity one. And there you fish. So I'll let you go. So there we go. Great fish for here. Not huge, but about the size you expect when you come up here. Again, another splashy wee rise. Or if I saw him before I felt him, you know. Go. Another typical wee trout. Can't see how he's hooked at. So there you go, another typical wee trout for here. Not big, but that's as big as they get. And unfortunately, I've got some tanglification going on here, so I think we'll have to maybe stop for detanglification. There we go. John's sort of clarity sedgehog has got a bit of a tune. So I don't know if you can see the clarity sedgehog, but don't take this as a good example of John's fly tying skills, because it's been chewed by a fair number of wee fish today. They can't get enough of it. So now I'm pretty certain that moved on. There was a couple of wee plucks. There's always a chance that it was a bit of vegetation, of course, but I'm pretty certain it was a wee fish. Just pluck, pluck, and eventually give up. I'm starting to feel like it might be time for some dinner. And especially now the rain's stopped and the sun's come out, might be nice to sit and make dinner in the sun rather than in the rain, you know. So I've got the grub on the go now. We'll see how that goes. I have this, it's like, it seems to be the same company that make the real termite stuff, and I don't know why, but they call this field meal, and it seems to be the same thing, and as far as I can determine. So that's what I'm having. I'm having pasta Provence this evening, whatever that is, but nonetheless, we'll give it a try and see. So, nice wee sheltered spot here, and then maybe once I get some food into me, we'll have another wee cast. Oh, it sounds like the boilification's coming soon. So, and then we'll get the food. Pre-dinner cup of tea now, and there's twigs in this as well. What a lovely evening, though it feels like an autumn day. It's cold wind and breezy and doesn't feel like a spring day at all. It's like the autumn has arrived. But May's often like that. I mean, I've fished in the snow in May up here, so it's hardly any surprise, is it? But nice night to be out, and I'll get my dinner and then I'll start fishing my way back to the car. I think that'll do me for the evening. I've had my dinner now, and I'm sort of starting to, oh, I've moved a wee fish. I'm starting to step my way back towards the car, but I think it looks like it's going to give me a big dump of rain from behind me here, and the wind has got really quite cool. So it's not great, you know, and I've had plenty of wee fish and plenty of action. So I think it's time to just pack it in and head for the car, and maybe try and get away before I get a complete soaking. Though it's a wee bit of a walk back to the car, so I guess I'm gonna get wet. But it looked like the sedgehog was the fly today. That one with the green tail and the sort of claret body did really well. I think, did he take all the fish I had? Pretty much all, you know, and seemed to be what was moving the fish as well. So that was definitely good medicine today.